Testing? Am I live? I think so. It's on. Oh, cool. Someone's here. Hey, Deathray. Deathray, I knew it was you. I didn't have to go through like the whole mental shenanigans to try and figure out who you were. Oh, good God. Amaroke. Amaroke. Hello, Amaroke. I don't think I recognize that name. Ah, Zuar, I recognize that one. Hey, Chris. Hey, White Despair. White Despair. How are you doing? Anyway, good to have you here, White Despair. How am I doing? I'm actually, you know what, White Despair? I'm actually happy today, you know? I'm happy. It's been a good week for me. I can only really hope everyone else has a good week. Ask me next week, though, because next week I might be back in the gutter. Just with my mood. Just with, my mood's very, well, this is like everyone. My mood's very, dependent on success. So, when I'm having a really bad week, oof, things get really dicey. But White Despair is doing well. Good. Oh, hey, Sarge. Guess I'll watch it during breakfast. Yeah. Sarge, thanks for watching the video. I will say, if I have a good mood on Sunday, I don't have to watch Dr. Mike before going into Rec Ochako. Why does every chapter start with a flashback? I think, legitimately, that might be interesting to study at the end of everything. You know, when we get to the end of Hero Academia, I think it'd be cool to go back and just be like, yeah, you know, did this strategy actually work out for this author? And I'm very curious about Red Hood's situation, because Red Hood also employs this trick now, and I'm wondering if Red Hood crashes and burn, I am 100% going to make an argument that this is a really bad technique. But right now, from the perspective of starting every chapter with a flashback, it really is just, I think that's the sign that that the author's afraid to stick in a boring part for too long. I think that's the biggest sign of it. He doesn't want to have the boring and necessary parts all together because it takes away momentum. And I think maybe the strategy is slot in the boring stuff in between the big exciting stuff, or like the big sensational stuff. If I was to give you a theory as to why he's doing it, that's probably the theory. I don't know if I can come up with anything else. At the eye roll. Yeah, thanks, Jason. I want to use, like, I know I can use emoticons in the videos, and it's always, I have to, you know, you have to be careful with your emoticon use. You can't always just kill the video with an emoticon, but recently it's been very good.
Just sharpen my spear.
Anyway, probably be an easy night. But we already have so many people commenting, and there's only 6 people watching. Let's see. So do you think Horikoshi put the flashback in chat because he didn't know what to do with Ochako's speech, so he delayed it by a week? No. I think he does know what to do with Ochako's speech. Because, like, really, the moment that this chapter is printed, the next chapter was already made. Like, the next chapter is probably sitting ready to go to the printers. So the chapter's already made. I think, like, Horikoshi's ahead of us by, like, 3 chapters or so, I think, if I recall correctly. Does anyone know the information about this? It's either 2 weeks ahead or 3 weeks ahead. Anyway, looking at this, it's just an interesting strategy overall. I think he knows what he wants to do with Ochako, but to be fair, and I point this out in the video, but I really think that question has become a cage for Ochako. I think it's too much of a cage. I think, and I'm probably going to say this in the video on Sunday, but if you remove the who helps heroes when they're suffering question from chapter 322, I don't think you lose anything of value, but maybe you save a lot of people's frustrations. I think having Ochako constantly revolve around this question, unless you have her acknowledge that, hey, I should have realized this sooner, unless you have her say that, it's just that question does a disservice to the entire thing, especially when you have Bakugo right there saying, like, hey, yeah, these people are going to make you hurt. And we know those people are going to make Izuku hurt. One thing I didn't talk about in the spoiler, but in general, do remember that Mount Lady said that Izuku's heart would be crushed by the by public reaction or something along those lines. And then that's pretty much what you see when you have the danger sense scene in the upcoming chapter. So we can link that to suffrage, and then right there you have Bakugo being like, "Yeah, you're gonna need our help to handle this," right? It's just such a tricky situation when the story in every other language is able to answer that question. Um, I gotta say too, having Ochako just kind of having Ochako explain Izuku's point of view for everyone that's slow, you have to also acknowledge that it feels good that people know that Izuku's a self-sacrificial boy. It feels good to have it declared, but at the same time, it's like she has said nothing new, right? When you look at it from the perspective of new information, you can maybe make the case of, yeah, you know what, probably best to leave the new information for the next chapter. And in this case, the new information is Ochako's summation of what she believes. Now, there's so many layers. This chapter also features Best Jeanist talking. Best Jeanist makes a request, and then you have, interestingly, Nezu being the stream throughout the chapter. Nezu is the one that starts the rhetoric, and he's the one that ends the rhetoric. That's really interesting. This isn't an Ochako chapter. This is a Nezu chapter setting up Ochako. Maybe. And that's really interesting. There's a lot of just like yanking your chain around, right? Like in the previous chapter, he yanks your chain towards Ochako. And then in this chapter, it's like, oh, no. Yank back. We're going to Nezu. Nezu's going to frame this. And then we're going to set up Ochako. And we're like, what I'm really concerned about here too is Nezu talking about the hero that's going to be better than All Might, and he's looking at Ochako. And it's, again, it's like that what we talked about yesterday. In a battle shonen, I don't know if I want this to be the ultimate example, especially when this person is starting her foundation by building on her foundation is Izuku's actions. Like, she's springboarding from Izuku's action when it comes to the rhetoric that she's talking about in the chapter. And mind you, like Nezu, I'm very interested. I need to look at the real chapter or the final translation to see what exactly they want to say with that character. But ultimately, it's interesting strategies, I guess. Interesting strategies. Mind you, let's also appreciate, you can't really have this level of discussion when it comes to other manga, because no other manga really takes this much time on rhetoric. We can't, like, in other manga, you can't criticize whether or not you think something was the best choice in rhetoric. It's just you get one rhetoric and that's it. Like, hope it's a good one. Like, if it's Black Clover, you're not getting sophisticated rhetoric in any which way for the majority of chapters. But like Hero Academia is probably the only one where you can actually look at the rhetoric and actually question, like, was this actually worthwhile? And then sometimes you can have the author actually come back and be like, oh yeah, no, turns out this rhetoric was a problem. Like the example being like Izuku's internal rhetoric being a problem. That one was that's good. Like, the author is very open to breaking other characters' rhetorics when the times come, and that's not something you get for the other series. Okay, gonna look through this stuff. Do you see Shoto's face this chapter? He looked like he in so much pain, having to hear the crowd yelling at Izuku to leave. Yeah, I did, and I like that he was standing next to Endeavor and Hawks. I like that. Because Endeavor's being yelled at too, and Endeavor's been taking these for a while. It is interesting that they're all watching as they watch like one of the worst situations of unfold here. Is the next chapter in 1407? Like, lately it's been 14, but I don't know about. Oh, Common, no, it's coming on Sunday. First, I think you shouldn't employ a large amount of flashbacks in the early parts of your series. Once you have gone on for a good while, then I think it could work better with some series, even doing entire flashback arcs. I agree with White Despair. It's just like you need to do it when you have people like really deep in your series, because you do kind of want to use sunk cost fallacy. And like, this is not the best way to explain it, but just with the phenomena of what the sunk cost fallacy is, just you want people to be more invested in your series before you start throwing in the flashbacks, because for some reason some people are confused when you go out of timeline. I don't know, this chapter kind of stuck to my opinion. Also 3 weeks ahead. Okay, 3 weeks ahead. Not to mention, Hodi's editor says he's very fast with drawing. He finished the chapter in like a couple of days. Right, you mentioned this. Who helps Ochako when she can't answer a question like 5 story arcs ago? Probably other heroes. Actually, no, I don't know. Chris, hi buddy. Doing good? Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm doing good. Chris, are you doing good? Why people think Deku's gonna die? He's narrating it. I don't know about that. Oh, people just like chasing Edge. Hey, Trip, there's something I want to remind you. So a few hours ago, I was thinking about Hero Academia, as I often do, and I thought of a specific moment. Wait a minute, doesn't that moment completely disprove the whole theory that Izuku is a traitor? Okay, give me what you got. And hey, Prower, the flashback could have been put in the next chapter. He could have done the whole speech, then ended with Bakugo and others explaining to Izuku what the UA barrier improvements are. I agree. That is something worth pointing out. Like, most times, the flashbacks, when they're not in a critical situation, like, you know, like during the Nagant situation, where you needed a flashback to give the background that Izuku knew who this person was. When you have a flashback that's not that critical, you don't... That flashback, this is probably one of the ones that you can move around, because last week's information is good. Do you think Izuku will lose One for All? Maybe at the end of the series. Read the chapter, enjoy it, and not criticize it. Oh, yeah. Plug cap. Yeah, no, 100%. You can read the chapter to enjoy it, but unfortunately, I have a YouTube channel, and it's worth talking about the writing styles. Let's see. He only loses it if he gives it to Shigi at the end. That's a popular fan theory about how he defeats him. Yes, that'll be interesting. I mean, like, I like the idea of the vestiges self-destructing, you know, and taking out All for One's vestige, because I like the idea of them being free. But at the same time, it's like, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens on that one. Who knows? Maybe Horikoshi showing Izuku using his quirks like tools is the setup for Izuku becoming Batman at the end of the series. Because maybe at the end of the series, he actually will have a jetpack on his back and a bunch of devices. But then again, he can't really replicate this super strength. Oh wait, no, sorry. That's old Hero Academia. In current Hero Academia, you very well can replicate super strength if you get the doctor to tinker with your body. Mind you, you might not survive the process, but I think, you know, give it 20 more years, and give it 20 more years, and Central Hospital will have will have broken the code to how to make that surgery much better. Super Soldier Serum in the future of Hero Academia. All right, the moment I'm referring to occurs during the fight between All for One and Camino. In Chapter 93, right before All for One strikes All Might with his so-called ultimate, All for One thinks to himself, trading blows with you earlier was enough to finally confirm my suspicion, All Might. You no longer possess One for All. If All for One was gaining information from Izuku... Oh, you're right. I see what you're saying. You're right. I see the logical consequence of what you're saying here. Yeah, no, man, you're right. Fujimoto said in an interview, he just hints at the backstories exist and doesn't explain a lot of things because he trusts his readers aren't stupid and will understand it. No, I like that strategy too. But a lot of people are. A lot of readers are lacking in reading comprehension. The problem with leaving your backstories vague is that you might have 5 popular fan theories and only one of them is correct, and you don't really... Only some people are on it, right? This is why sometimes when authors come out and they reveal something, it's like, yes, guys, obviously. And then everyone else gets to be really happy about their fan theory and every other fan theory that dies. Yeah, no. Fujimoto's probably overestimating this. Like, we live in the reality. We see the fan theories that get produced here without problem. Deku's actual quirk is narrating as a ghost. He couldn't use his quirk until he died. Oh, hey, Skill. Also, a bunch of heroes have super strength without super strength powers. That's true. Anyway, to White Despair's point, that's a good that is a really good one, White Despair. That's a legitimately good one. Cause for Izuku to be the traitor, All for One would have been active at Camino. Hopefully, hopefully it's not a case that All for One created a vestige in Izuku only recently. Hopefully that's not the case, because that'll be pretty lame. Oh, hey Miguel. Do you think All for One gave Shigaraki decay? I want to think so. Honestly, I want to think that All for One's been watching Shigaraki for a very long time and somehow triggered decay. I really want to believe that, legitimately. You know? It's just... It's because otherwise, it's like this guy was watching Shigaraki his entire life. Because we know he definitely was, because one doesn't simply find a kid on the street who happens to be the grandchild of your worst enemy. That doesn't happen. So All for One had to have been watching him. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. Hinted backstories are usually a weaker impact. Yeah, like they're usually not that consequential. Peacemaker versus Stain ideology. I would go with Peacemaker ideology. Keeping peace can be bloody and brutal. Yeah, I think I like Peacemaker more too, John. Peacemaker was just cool. I found him really cool. I just liked him. Since the barrier was made for culture, if Gentle had managed to invade UA, would it have gone underground? Also, how the heck did they build such a thing without nobody noticing? I know, right? Like, that's the one thing that definitely got me questioning. Although I do really enjoy that this is referencing something that happened in school briefs. Really appreciate that. And, I'm happy that they brought this up, because now this explains how Meteor was standing when we see him at talking to Izuku. I was just so happy that I finally got to know how the heck was Meteor standing. You know that moment where Meteor pops out of the ground? Yeah, now I know. There was, in fact, an underground compartment. Mind you, like, the easiest answer was to assume there was an underground compartment, but it's always nice to know. Oh, we could have beaten him. That sucks.
Let's dance.
Today I watched my friend do the 2.0 boss, and I think I want to get to that point too. I haven't done the story for Inazuma at all, really. I kind of started it when Inazuma came out, and I haven't really touched it. It's what happens when you have a busy life.
Go, Barbara, go.
Let's see. Since the barrier was made for Culture Festival, if Gentle managed to invade it, would it have gone underground? Anyway, back to that question. Yeah, I think it would have gone underground. Oh, god damn it. Well, I don't know if it would actually. Yeah, no, because the idea is like Nezu was preparing for Shigaraki. So yeah, it would go underground because like what this has shown us is that Nezu doesn't believe in moderation. He's 100% in with, yeah, we do whatever it takes. Which, can appreciate. I legitimately can appreciate that. Here we go. Oh, oops. Yay! We did it! Let's see. Okay. I heard season 5 is delayed because Backbill voice actor had a throat surgery or something. I wonder why. Oh, is it? Is it delayed? Does anyone have that information? Just to confirm that All for One is not Deku's dad. It would have been cool, but nah. I think he might have triggered it, but I don't like the idea of him giving away decay when he could have used it to defeat All Might. Once again, showing All for One isn't that smart. Yeah, I know, right? It's a little bit tricky. It's just because, like, if Shigaraki's thing is legitimately a mutation, it just... All for One got really lucky with that, because otherwise I don't know what's he going to do with Shigaraki. Is he going to kidnap Shigaraki? Like, if he wants to create the ultimate hate battery, right? And he wants to say that Shigaraki was born bad or born twisted, like, what do you do to get your perfect weapon? That's my question. Let's see. All for One was probably watching Nana's family for a while. Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. He had to be. I see the whole All for One going two possible directions. Option 1 is that decay is, in fact, Shigaraki's natural burn quirk. Option 2 is that All For One gave it to Shigaraki, and All For One will try and use this fact to make him sound like a competent demon lord, with the rhetoric likely being that decay has become Shigaraki's true quirk. Just like how One For All has become for All Might, then Shigaraki kills All For One as the ultimate showcase of him becoming an independent villain leader. God, man, that's just so much convolution. He also turned Shigaraki's hair white as himself and Yoichi's image. Oh, thanks to Chibi, I found out Mappa released a transparent animator contract. Oh, nice. Favorite X-Men character? Cyclops, probably. I prefer Shigaraki being born with decay, so the born twisted line makes more sense. I understand that. Let's see. All For One's century-old brain is finally starting to deteriorate. Kayla, I mean, to be fair, that brain was completely demolished by All Might. It's really amazing that he's managed to survive that, all things considered. I mean, that's definitely a TBI, or sorry, that's definitely a traumatic brain injury. There's no way around that one. Alright, cool. Apparently the husband of the Japanese singer Lisa. Oh, Lisa has a husband? I didn't know Lisa had a husband. Wow, good for her. I'm glad that she's not being decimated by Japanese culture. Good. Good for her. Let's see. So Lisa's husband is in the hospital after attempting suicide. The reason behind it was that people brought up a rumor that he was having an affair. So did he just get community shamed? That sucks. Actually, maybe this is like the next worst thing. Yeah, Lisa didn't get yelled at, but her husband got yelled at for betraying her, or for like suspected of betraying her, but not really, maybe. Though I didn't know I needed Monoma taking care of Eddie so much before now. I really like that, you know. I liked it too because Monoma is the darkness of UA, as if Mineta doesn't exist. So I actually really, that was cool. Although I do kind of wonder about the third years, but maybe the third years are kind of busy right now. Actually, no. If I'm thinking about it, Mirio and them probably are out and about doing stuff. Jason says, Hody might never explain how Shigaraki got his quirk and just leave it to fans to discuss, which I think is the best solution. That also is the best solution for they figured out One For All could be passed on. Nah, like for One For All, I really do think it's going to be a situation where Yoichi dies trying to protect the second user and a drop of his blood falls into the second user's mouth. So Yoichi's going to die on top of the second user. And yes, I know, homoerotic, but come on, sometimes people die over the bodies of other people. It happens. We can all accept that and just be mature about it. But yeah, no, that's what I think is going to happen with One For All. Is Kurogiri active? Because if All For One has Kurogiri under his control, then he could warp villains inside and then the barrier is useless. Yeah, I agree. Right now, I think the best assumption is that Kurogiri isn't active. It would be nice if he's catatonic due to the interference from Aizawa, but who knows? Yo, imagine if during the time skip, Kurogiri was reverted back to a normal person with ultimate power Eri. Oh god, that'd be hilarious. I guess Monoma's not the dark side of UA to Eri anymore. Honestly, if we're talking about All For One getting lucky, I think the simple fact that All For One didn't die when he lost top of his head is the ultimate form of luck. I don't know, that might be preparation. I'm questioning why Ragdoll has quota outside of the crowd. I felt so bad since he's seeing how people are treating his hero. Well, actually, Kayla, I think he might think like, oh yeah, once upon a time, I also looked at heroes pretty badly too, right? And they were probably just out there, maybe because they knew that Izuku was coming. Maybe they wanted to see him. Maybe that's what's going on with that one. But I do, like, that is pretty traumatic. I think all of society will be quirkless to stop the singularity. Oh yeah, that's a popular theory. Wipe out all the quirks. Monoma is the darkness of UA, Mineta is the uncontrolled puberty of UA. I think it's possible Kurogiri goes back to normal. Hahaha, you think the internet will mature. Your theory doesn't cover the fact One For All has to be willingly passed on. Yeah, no, it's pretty, like, in my mind, I think I can make it work. All you have to do is have Yoichi say, please keep fighting against my brother. Right? That's the only way I can really see it working. Like he has to give second user some kind of dying message to not give up in front of his brother. Because like I think Yoichi does have the rhetoric of like one for all was based on not giving in to all for one. So if we actually are talking about the rhetoric, and my memories aren't good, so I don't remember the exact lines. But if we focus on the rhetoric, maybe the author can make it work by saying the emotion is what allowed it to be carried on. But it's gonna be kind of wonky. It's probably gonna be like a loose interpretation with my version of events. Hey Ty, also I'm prepared to have the top. How does someone even go about doing that? Why would someone even go about doing that? Well, I can like if I was okay in my mind, if I'm playing D&D, and I know I have to use Demon Lord rhetoric because All for One is a Demon Lord impersonator. If I'm doing D&D and I'm playing 3.5, I will 100% use contingency and create a spell where if someone kills my body, I go and I get to revive in another person's body. Like, good old Voldemort from Harry Potter deciding to split his body or his soul into multiple pieces so he never really dies. You know, when it comes to fantasy literature, smart people tend to have contingency plans in case they get killed. So I could see All for One maybe doing that, but it's like for All for One, it's more like I'm gonna pick up a quirk that will let me regrow my head, but it apparently won't let me regrow my head well enough. So I really don't know. I really don't know how that quirk would have worked. Point taken. I do think contingency plans can still work if you're like modeling yourself off of a demon lord, and maybe if you play D&D a lot. Which at this point, I do think All for One probably played D&D a lot. He's probably a loner. Actually, no, I don't think he has the ability to stick through an entire D&D campaign. Never mind. You know what? All for One is probably just like the ultimate LARPer, LARPing people who play D&D. He's probably that guy that comes down, plays one game with his brother, calls his brother a knob in front of all of his friends, and then laughs at him and then goes back upstairs to do nothing. That's probably more All for One energy. Yeah, that's the only thing I can really come up with. Can Kuni teleport into UA with changes to UA? Yes, Speed, because he does coordinate-based teleportation. So if he knows the coordinates of like a UA classroom, he can just do the teleport, from what we understand, right? Because the author had to come up with rules to explain why Kurogiri was different than the black sludge teleport. Common still thinks that Baku was the second user. That's on the same level of imagining the ending of Genshin Impact is getting rid of all visions and elemental powers. All for Once, well, like Miguel, that's actually on the same level of the recent movie about certain kids with mental problems riding really powerful weapons. All for One's master plan: send bodyguard away to live in the woods for 15 years. Find a successor, since I intend to have a copy of my consciousness take him over in 15 years. 3. Lose to All Might. I want to see the rest of this. So to speak on the issue of UA and its, oh Jesus Christ, I went the wrong way. To speak on the issue of UA and their upgrades, it doesn't look like we're gonna get a mecha, which is fine with me. Like I can't say I mind that we're not getting a mecha. It just seems like this is a lot of underground travel. What do you guys think about UA's method of travel here? And Jason, yesterday you were saying like maybe it could fly through the air. And I'm not, you know what? Knowing the whale is a thing on those color spreads, I'm not going to give up on the whale. But what do you think right now, Jason? Would love to know. So far, it just seemed like it's a really sophisticated subway that they somehow were able to build up. And they can only build it because Netzu is like a world treasure or something like that. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? When they were talking about Netzu being loved the world over and that's why he's so rich, I just thought, Garaki, the doctor, he too was loved all over and had many wonderful charitable organizations. And what I want to say is just like, when it comes to... Oh, hello. Oh, god damn it. Oops, oops, oops. Anyway, yeah. You know, when it comes to people with incredible philanthropist organizations, I'm not sure I can trust them. Because Garaki has taught me to not trust anyone that has charity. Because they might be in bed with All for One. There was a panel of a guy that looks a bit sus. People are saying it might be Toga. I saw that panel, AN683. I saw it. The one that I think maybe he has a an umbrella. It did look really suspicious. The brain is funny. You can actually lose parts of it and still live a normal life. Combine that with the magic of science of Hero Academia quirks. It's easy to explain All for One surviving the All Might fight. Oh yeah, no, Jason. I get you, man. Like Phineas Gage. But yeah. It's just All for One looked like he lost so much of his upper head. Like it's just so weird, right? I kind of wish we could see the actual extent of the damage. Cuz imagine if All Might pretty much beheaded him. Imagine growing that back. That'd be really interesting. I don't think the removal of quirks will change physical mutations that aren't really quirks. Yeah, I don't think so either. And get the top half of my head, forcing me to rely on life support to survive. Got to prison to help successor become independent. Have successor prove himself as worthy. The ending of Pokemon. Separating Pokemon and humans because they realize kids holding creatures with apocalyptic powers is a bad idea. Yo, but Miguel, on that note, the original ending for Pokemon by the one guy was the idea that everything was just a dream for Ash and Pokemon, like, well, actually, I don't know. I think this is a rumor. I'm not sure if this is actually an idea that one of the guys in the Pokemon animation staff was doing, but like it would be ending with Pokemon being something of a child's fantasy. It'd be kind of like what the Digimon Kizuna movies did, with just kind of saying you have to grow up from your Digimon. And it's like, no, I'm not growing up from my pets. Are you crazy? I'm assuming they left his body to bring All Might to the hospital after the injury. Yeah, I wonder how they collected that body. Do you think we're getting a time skip? Just like maybe Hero Academia level time skips. Tony Kawa dropped their OVA today. This is insane seeing the pages. Yup. You only have to collect just one crab to complete that. What would you do with $1 million? Pay off my debt, most likely, and then give away some of the money and maybe invest the rest. UA has Cementos as well, so building in general is significantly easier for them. He most likely helped a lot with the underground structure. I would agree with that. I'm just surprised at how quiet they were able to do everything. I feel like Power Loader is probably the guy that did the excavations. It's just, again, it's so interesting that they were able to excavate so much. I find it funny that when All for One gets his first followers that do stuff for him, he's really surprised. The way he explained the situation to his brother made it seem like he never had friends before. Because he never did. He never did. I mean, like, Ty, you already know how I feel about this. He never did. Don't profit since all I've achieved is losing my eyes and needed life support, while a copy of my consciousness gains everything I've ever wanted. Genius plan. Yeah, White Despair. It's so crazy it might just work. In the original generation, they intended only Kanto and Johto to be the only place in the world where Pokemon existed. That's why they had also real-life animals. Nice. I'm still going by my theory that Toga was waiting at UA for Deku so he can answer her question. Trip, that was theory someone had. The guy you're talking about, the one who needed drugs to write the story. I remember the ending was supposed to be Ash in his old age, reminiscing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that, okay. The guy, so I know who, so I'm talking about that same guy, the one that did the first, second, and third movies, and you can tell that the first, second, and third movies are pretty depressing for that, or like, they're pretty weird because of that. But, yeah, alright. Alright, cool.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, that one guy that had to get on so many drugs to write Pokemon. You know, that's kind of depressing, man. Legit, that is pretty depressing. Pokemon's such a nice show, and then you have to get on drugs to write it. That just kind of sucks. Personally, I like the flight idea. The underground scenario seems like good on paper, but also the type of scenario that more stuff can go wrong. So this setting is better for a potential poop storm. I agree with you. I completely agree. Like, underground is just, so many tragedies have occurred underground that I just don't see this working well for anyone. Yeah, you know what, Animamus, I'll look it up during the weekend just to see if he had that idea or not. But I do recall that guy had to be on a lot of drugs. It was a pretty depressing story. You know what else depresses me? It depresses me like the Overlord author kind of just gets burned out with Overlord. Although, like, it also makes me feel kind of good because Overlord's actually like pretty depressing and not that likable, aside from like intellectual liking. So that makes me a little bit happy. Well, it's bittersweet. It's a bittersweet feeling. I feel bad for that guy. Most friends don't bomb people's buildings for talking shit. Yes. Uraraka has superpower of being a female child, not Deku, to convince the crowd. Deku would come off as whiny if he complained about how much he did versus someone else vouching for him. Yeah, no, optics, right? It's all about the optics. I do appreciate the optics in this situation. Oh. Lots of neat little things. Well, that's not going to be helpful because it's raining.
Huh?
Gonna have to stop the rain here, really. Okay, so this one's just showing me the directions I gotta go. That's fair. Cool enough.
Phew.
Guys think I'm gonna get it? I think I'm gonna get it. Oh god damn it, I'm not gonna get it. Oh god damn it. Just barely missed. Oh wait, never mind. Okay.
Remember.
Trajectories. Trajectories are not a thing for me. Do 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 do. Let's see. So I'm reading a series called Dan Dan. It's getting weirder and weirder each chapter. Dan Da Dan. Okay. I think I've heard about that one. Pokemon never felt like a drug-fueled story. Not bizarre enough. I agree. But movie 3 of Pokemon is weird enough to be drug-fueled. Oh, guys, actually, like, that reminds me. I was reading a TV Tropes article about fueled by drugs. And let's see if I can find it here. Because they had, they talked about what, they talked about which drugs do what thing for your story in terms of the talk. Let's see. I want to see if I can find it. Because it was pretty funny. I want to see what you guys thought. There we go. This is your premise on drugs. That's the name of the trope page. So I want to just go... so, here we go. When it comes to your premise being on drugs, the most common ones are crack, acid, and steroids, but any drug can and will be used. The choice of drug can imply certain qualities. Work on speed or extremely energetic and fast-paced. Works on crack or similar, but with an element of surrealism or wackiness implied. Acid and weed are more psychedelic and confusing. And this is why, people say the Disney acid sequence, because when you look at when Disney's having one of their big, villainous moments, it goes pretty acid-like. Let's see. Yeah, acid and weed are more psychedelic, whereas works on steroids are usually bigger and more extreme. One would imagine a work on NyQuil would be dreamy and lethargic, while describing Show B as Show A on its meds implies that Show A is in some way weird, while Show B, while cut from the same cloth, is less weird. So there you go, just vernacular when it comes to drugs. I thought that was just pretty funny trivia. I kind of just liked how they characterized what drug causes what. So, if someone's on speed, yeah, you could probably get like a really fast-paced story. Like when it comes to Pokemon, let's see. Yeah, no, like movie 3 is just weird. I think that one might be surrealism. It was nice to see Ash have people look up to him now. It's also a nice detail that when Go asked Ash if he could do a Z move, and he said he didn't bring the ring. In the next episode, he brings it to his fight with Volkner so Go can see it. Nice. It would be nice if Ash just kept a lot of his things that can power up his Pokemon more. Once again, I am astounded at the length of Best Jeanist' neck. Just look at the panel where he interrupted President Mike. That man definitely had a giraffe for at least one of his parents. Yeah, it's a really long neck. He definitely belongs in, what's it called? The ballroom dancing one? Let's see. It seems that Hori has been planning to have Uraraka and Deku in this sort of dynamic from their first interaction. Uraraka literally saved Izuku from tripping himself up when they first met. Those are nice little details that I like for the series. It adds more to Ash and Go's friendship. I would agree on that. Go was upset he couldn't see Ash do a Zimu, so Kappa said he couldn't do it in a battle. Yep. Hey Joe, I think I asked before the game came out, but did you end up trying Monster Hunter Stories 2 demo or getting the game? No, I haven't gotten to try it yet. Just didn't have the time. I'm still interested in getting it at some point, maybe when it's cheaper. Also, Ash using the tools of his arsenal instead of handicap himself now makes sense because he now fights potential Elite 4 champion tier trainers. He's no longer fighting rookie trainers. Wait. Miguel, is Ash actually going to be smart now? Is he actually going to be using like every trick in the toolbook? Like, did he say that in the episode? Like, the Z-Ring isn't going to be just a last minute thing, right? Like, he's actually going to be doing hardcore tactics now? Satoko has everyone in the palm of her hand this season. Yes, for Higurashi. Mr. Mime being Ash's mom Pokemon was pretty bizarre. That's alright. One thing that I was honestly a little surprised about was how many more pages Ochako is getting compared to the others. Ida got 3 pages, Baku got 5 pages. In the chapter alone, Ochako gets seemingly 10 pages at least, and she might get more next chapter. I figured she would get focus, but I was honestly surprised and happy to see her get so much focus, so much more than the others. I think it's also kind of a little bit of compensating, because like if you look at Ida's moments, Ida has a few moments before he has his pinnacle moment, right? You have Ida staring in the rain, setting up that he's going to be the one to do something. You have Ida like leading the charge and actually talking to Nedzu. Like, especially in this case where we're looking across multiple chapters, I think it is worth looking at the other chapters before, because like Bakugo gets his moments, not necessarily about screaming at Izuku, but he gets like the setup for Izuku before the final moment for him. And I mean, in this chapter, Bakugo has a small moment there with Izuku as well. Mind you, Ochako is getting a lot of pretty shots here. In terms of like the pretty shots, you're right. The only anime series I know that was fueled by drugs, since the creator confirmed it, was Panty and Stalking. Everyone who's seen that show can agree to that. So what do you think of the Jujukai spoiler trip? When I read it, there wasn't that much out still, but it's like Yuji talking to him and then like talking about Gojo not liking alcohol, not drinking alcohol, and then just informing Hikari about stuff. Yeah, from what I've seen, I want to see the final chapter. Let's see. I think the spoilers are good since they convinced one person to help them to get the 3rd year to help for the Colon Games. Is that Kirara? Oh, gotcha, Sar. I'll try the demo first then. I think this chapter might also be a callback to when Ochako and Ida worked together to calm the students when the press got in. Back then, the students thought the villains were attacking, so Ida asked Ochako to use her quirk on him so that he can get above and restore order. Here you have the civilians afraid of the possibility that the villains will attack Ochako, goes above them to restore order. I don't know if it's a callback. You know, just from the sense that this is like, it's pretty. I mean, at the end of the day, it looks like a callback, so you can call it a callback. But for me, that's like that feels so pedestrian, you know. But whatever. Like, you know, nice coincidences, regardless of whether or not they were intended or not, are still nice, and they can make people think like, yeah, that might be a callback. So good pointing it out, White Despair. Kayla's like, are you sure Ash changed? This is the guy who did a fire type Pokemon against the gym leader's water type. Yo, Kayla. I don't think type advantage works in the Pokemon anime, because like when Ash actually uses type advantage, like when he used Greninja versus Charizard X, you know, he had a shot there. He had a shot there at the beginning, and he still lost. I know Charizard X gets the dragon typing, but you know, before that, at the end of the day, Ash is taking less damage from a fire type on that one. I really think Ash is really leading the charge on this one, and type advantage does him no good. Ash will probably use Pikachu against Volkner, despite knowing that Volkner uses electric types. What did he use against Volkner when they first had their gym battle? In saying this, Uraraka has also had a lot of setup panels as well. She's had panels nearly every chapter looking at Izuku in the rain or stuff like that. Yes, of course. If we're being fair, I do think, like, with this chapter, Uraraka's probably going to come out on top. I mean, like, Maybe it would be interesting to just do a very fair objective. Here's how many panels we got from the moment the kids started showing up in the shots. I think maybe there's some good statistics. It might just be good trivia. At this point, like I don't think I would try to talk about who won in all of this, like who got the better stuff between Bakugo, Ida, and Ochako, because different people value different things. But in terms of just doing a straight up analysis of like, okay, who got the most panels of these three, that might be interesting. Because then maybe we can come up with a little bit of a story. Maybe we can come up with some kind of rhetoric to talk about it. But I would be interested in doing it to see how many panels Tokoyami gets. Because I think Tokoyami is going to be the person with... Yeah, he might be fourth highest in terms of how many panels he got. Because he was just being so useful. Let's see. Type advantage don't matter too much in the anime when you have strategy. Yeah. Let's say Nezu is a traitor. What does this mean for the defense system moving people around underground? What about the plating? How does Nezu just know it'll work? Yeah, no, like actually, if Nezu's a traitor, get ready. He just spent all the money in Japan's national bank, and now he's gonna screw you over. What an evil person. And I say, you know, he says he has his own money, but let's face it, it'd be funnier if Nezu just did some massive embezzlement scheme, and he's just pretty much using all the taxpayers' money on this one. It'd be funny. I don't think it would happen, but it'd be funny. He used Infernape, Torterra, Pikachu, and Infernape. Okay. Oh, those were some good picks. Agree. I think it really set up that Ochako was understanding the situation that Izuku was in. Torterra was a ground type immune to electric attacks, but Volkner had Ice Punch Electivire to counter it. I kind of want Uraraka to continue having moments past this, even if it's just in supporting Izuku. Just her having panel space in the main action would be nice. I agree, Jazz. And this is like why we talk about her quirk. The problem with her quirk is that it prevents her from being in the same area as Izuku. But yeah, overall, it'd be nice if Ochako continues to... if she continues to have panel space. If Ash is ever replaced as the protagonist, it might actually be sad. Or I might actually be sad, Tai said. It'll be like a part of my childhood ending, like how the show Arthur is ending next year after 25 seasons. Yeah. But The Simpsons will never end. I just found the panel thing interesting because I've seen a lot of people recently complain that Bakugo's apology wasn't long enough, and then Ochako goes and gets approximately twice the panel time in the very next chapter. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll have to see. I mean, like, when I'm looking at Ochako though, like I'm not seeing anything of a lot of value there still. Like again, smart on her for the emotional appeal, but I'm looking forward more to next week, because I want to get new stuff other than just knowing that Ochako is appealing to emotions. You know, we don't have to replace Ash. We could just get Pokemon Special having its adaptation. If Pokemon Special gets an adaptation, that'll be fine. What is going on here?
Let's vault. Let the show begin.
Can't run from death.
Let's see. Okay, so
Disappear.
let's see. How does Nezu get his money funding from the government or patents from inventions he's created? Well, from what Endeavor says, it just sounds like Nezu has done a lot of good for the world, and so he's probably like just being a philanthropist. He's just racked up a lot of goodwill, probably. Like he's probably made a lot of inventions or something like that, or he's probably helped a lot of people, and maybe they just donate to him quite a lot. I mean, like, if they know the guy that's leading the charge on accepting other people has a school, then maybe, yeah, maybe he does get a lot of goodwill donations. Like, I don't know. Oh, yeah, UA tuition must also pay him really well. It must be inventions as well. I mean, that's how I would have to come up with it, man. Like, if I had to try and give it... Like, I think the chapter will maybe have a few more better... maybe I'll have better wording for it, but we'll have to see. Let's see. Why would Baku apologize for 10 pages? I mean, 4 pages was good, but let's see. I remember people wanted a different MC for Pokemon, like how they changed MCs for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, people will always play the comparison game, right? Ash shouldn't have gone there. Nezu should have asked money for All Might with how big his pockets are. I think she could have an emotional appeal, but also some kind of call to action would be effective. Well, I think like next chapter, right? Because I think after talking to you guys, maybe this chapter was just for like regurgitating things that we already knew, but just making sure that the public knows about it, and then now we can move into like the new stuff in the next chapter. That's what I'm thinking. No worries, it's tough as we want more Baku and Deku talking, but things get rushed. Yeah, pretty much. I remember in Black and White, Ash wanted to use type advantage and thought he could beat Alessa with just Palpitoad, and needed to run back to the Pokemon Center to get a second Pokemon after it fainted. Oh, but yo, Black and White Ash was dumb. Black and White Ash, they reset him too hard. They went too hard with the reset angle. No, Black and White Ash was no, that's not fair. That guy. Not sure, but that's what some people online seemingly wanted out of the apology. Something like inspiring the civilians to actually support and care for the heroes instead of seeing the heroes as an end or something like that. Well, Jazz, again, that's I'm hoping for something of that level as well, and ideally we get a next chapter.
You're toast. Let's dance.
Attacking everything with my fire. I can't even see the character, but I know they're somewhere in there.
Win it.
Evil conquering.
Anyway, less is more. Sadly, it's Bakugo. Maybe there's still more to the apology since Deku hasn't given Bakugo a proper response. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Worthless.
I mean, this is probably one of those things that we can probably judge at the end of the series when we know that we're not getting anything else beyond it. Oh, little birds. The birds are freaking out. It's okay, though. Oh, so much chaos. Oh, I hate chaos. Chaos must be destroyed. Alright, cool. Let's see. I like that B is his rival in the new series. Oh, wait. Is she actually? I know that he's had like a little bit of a scuffle with her. Well, actually, I don't know the... I know that there were a bunch of episodes focused on her, but I didn't know she was like a rival. For me, the Ochako moment isn't that amazing. The scenes cutting to people we knew and the civilians like were better. Made the chapter better in my opinion. Oh, yeah. No, I definitely like that. But again, right? I think right now the safe thing to do is assume this is build up for like the good stuff next week. Do you think Kirara will help manage to convince Hekai to join Yuji for the calling games? Oh, I think so, Chris. I think it's pretty guaranteed that Guy's going to be joining the calling games. Let's see. The way it's going in the next chapter, I expect the Fox Lady and some others, including the people from the cars he just saved in the anime, to say something on Izuku's behalf. Yeah, it would be nice if we have the next moment is just people saying how much Izuku's helped them. Mind you, it's only like a handful of people, but it'll be a powerful moment. And it'll kind of follow the thematics of his friends talking about him and thanking him. So that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be ultimately really, really cool if you have just a bunch of small people talking. And maybe there you can slot in Hagakure and Aoyama. All this talk panel is reminding me of a post I saw a long time ago where someone went through the entire war arc and counted how many panels each character appeared in. I don't remember much about it other than the fact that Shigaraki had the most panels out of any character. Oh, wow. Nice. 2 series made by the same author are getting an anime. The Strongest Sage with Eureka's Crest and My Isekai Life. I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. Oh, nice. I think it's due to Japanese culture, but the reason why Ash's past achievements aren't mentioned is due to Japanese of modesty, where they don't want people bragging and humbling down. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for a while, B had a couple matches with Ash. Right now, I believe the record is 1-0-1. And Ash 0-1-1. Okay. Yeah, when it's aimed for kids, they have to exaggerate. I agree with you, Miguel. Let's see. Koda is there too. If he comes out to defend it, that would be really wholesome. Yep. I know the first one ran and followed the manga. Okay, let's see. What happened to this girl? Oh, this girl's been... I poisoned her. Okay, so she wants me... Rito, okay. So she wants me to go ask for stuff. Oh wow, that is really far. Also, back in the original scene where Ash got in the Beck 16, he kept bragging about it to the point Misty told him to get over it. I don't know. Yeah, he's annoying sometimes, but he could have gone on for a little bit longer. I wouldn't have minded. I mean, you know what the issue is. It's just like with Black and White. Black and White was just such a major step back with Ash. It was just, I know you had to like reset it, but it's just so, it was so aggressive. Ultimately, I'm happy that he's bringing stuff back from previous series, because that's pretty awesome. Meanwhile, Go has a Suicune. Let's see. Sorry, it's the birds. Cool, there we go. Okay, doing the quest. Guys, I think we will call it an early night tonight, because this way I can go to sleep early. But if you have any last minute things you want to talk about, let me know. But yeah, once I'm done with this, I'm probably going to call it. Ultimately, for the next chapter, I'm excited to see the final wording for a lot of things. Don't know what's got those little birds talking. Well, actually, you know what? I think I can imagine. Ah, thanks, man. Yes, Japanese culture is sometimes toxic when it comes to individuals. Even voice actresses are shamed when they spend their money on expensive things. Oh. Oh, no. Come on, birds. God dang it. Oh, this is putting me in a tough position here. No, I came here because I needed to find this lady that's selling stuff. Where does she hang out? Okay, those guys are still going strong. Oh, little birds. Someone pointed out that the new Cinemac doesn't have the Battle Frontier, just the Battle Tower. RIP. Oh. Well, who knows? Maybe they can still surprise us. Oh, that sucks. Well, Jago has one more chance next week to knock my socks off. After that, my hope is for her gone, and she's going to my list of most disappointing anime characters. Alright. I'm sorry. I am sorry to hear that, Ty. I'm sorry to hear that. Coco flexing her $9,000 bet, and Kanata flexing her $1,000 alarm. What? Wait, did I get that right? Dyslexia, not dyslexic, but like having, sometimes, I can't see zeros well sometimes. They kind of just vibrate too much when I'm looking at them. Okay, cool. $1,000 alarm. Why do you need a $1,000 alarm? I don't understand. Like, is this a rich person thing? I don't understand. Why do you need a $1,000 alarm? That's a lot. That is quite literally a lot. I also expect Hercules to pull up in front of UA and All Might and Stain to talk. Recently, the voice actors of Nezuko and the voice actors of from Redo of Healer were surprised. Going together her apartment, she got backlash and had to make a communication claim that they were just close friends. Yeah, just friends. Huh. Weird. Weird. It's weird that they have to do that. That's weird. I feel bad for them, man. That sucks. That's... Well, good that voice actors are friends, I guess. That's really all... The only other thing I can say about that. Hololive Idols, Kanata's alarm is like an inflatable airbag that you place on your back. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, come on, we're almost there. We're almost there. We've almost got it. Now I just gotta find a place to cook. Let's see. Because the voice actress is pretty popular to the point of being treated like an idol, she should say you of a Love Live character as well. Oh! Interesting, interesting. Let's see. I found the post I was talking about. Shigaraki 373, Deku 340, Endeavor 328, Dobby 230. Wow, that's a giant divide. That's so cool. Oh, I should do that too. I should count things up. Let's see. Hawks 227, Bakugo 172, Gigantomachia 153, Shoto 149, Twice 120, Ochako 115, Aizawa 108. Well, you know, like, it's interesting too. Aizawa does a lot more with his 108 than Ochako does with her 115. While I believe All Might's okay, I really need him to show up soon. I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, no, I feel ya, man. I feel ya. Where is this place? Ah, there we go. Do. There we go. Let's see. And yeah, Ty, they're not allowed to have a life, pretty much. At least, that's what it ultimately looks like to me. Well, I believe All Might... Okay, I got that. Maybe they'll have a small diorama of the Battle Frontier in post-game. God, no. No. That was just the worst, man. I'm not sure if anyone brought this up, but what do you think Aizawa will do to Deku when he finally sees him? We haven't seen him since 306, and I'm not sure if he'll comfort him or chew him out. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be difficult because I think Aizawa's more likely to chew out All Might. Because Aizawa's going to be thinking, like, you should have done better because you're a teacher. Like, Aizawa might actually hit him hard on that one. Just to name a few of them. The post is 50 pages long. I'm not posting the entire thing in chat. Gotcha, White Despair. Stain, can you tell the truth about who really took him out? Pokemon got more comfortable making DLC. Maybe they could actually do a Battle Frontier DLC. Maybe. Why do I feel we might not get this CRC and Mansion scene this episode? Oh, I don't know, man. Many are praying they give us Battle Frontier and BDSP. Yeah. I see that a lot, too. Alright. Cool. Let me go get my commission rewards, and I'm calling it. God dang it. Where's the commission? Where's the commission? Where are you? You're over here. Just remember. Oh, hello, Jennifer. We're about to call it. Just remember that Aizawa will be a pirate when we see him next. Yes, they may cut Redestro's introduction from the anime too, since we already saw him when they were on that weird reunion with Hawks. Sad. That's unfortunate. I hope they are able to maintain that Redestro is an absolute dick. It just really adds to the character. You need to know that Redestro will kill someone for insulting his ancestor. Or, like, what is it? Father or something like that? I forget what it was. Thanks, Sar. Oof, sorry. Let's see. Anyway, yeah. We got it. That's it. That's the end. Alright, guys. So we'll be back on Sunday. Oh, wait. There's also another post that's counting the number of panels characters appear for in the entire series. Currently up to 306. Izuku 5,000. Bakugo 1,000. Shoto 1,000. All Might 1524. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, guys. Yeah. Going to say the good nights. Good night. Matt, you're funny. Good night to Matt. Good night to White Despair. Good night to Sar. Good night to AN8683. Good night to Jennifer. Good night to Ty. Random, Sarge, Animamith, Kenneth, Kayla. Prower, Gohan. Yeah, guys. Have a good night. We're gonna come back on Sunday, and it's gonna be a great time, and we'll see what happens next week as well. Oh, good night, Deathray, and good night, White Despair. So, ending the stream in... Oh, wait, got a big comment. Still can't believe you haven't seen Boondock. It's on the HBO. Check it out this weekend. No, Ty, I'm watching it, man. Anyway, maybe like in the next 2 weeks. Oh, and good night, John. Good night to everyone. Ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Till next time, everybody.